What's going on, YouTube? So today is today is the last day of Columbus Cars and Coffee Buyers Group car show over in Whitehall, Ohio, across the street from Buyers. So we're about to meet up with a couple guys. I gotta get something real quick. Jesus. Let's try that again. Alright guys, so this is take two. As I said, we are headed to meet up with some of the guys to go to the buyers meet, last buyers meet of the year. They're the ones that host the Columbus Cars and Coffee. I'm with Ignasty in front of me in his M4, and we're gonna head there. So I know in the last, maybe the second to last video I made, I talked about some big changes that were going on that, you know, I didn't want to talk about then. Oh, sweet, a freaking Lotus in the neighborhood. I wonder who that is. And sorry, the Lotus totally threw me off. But I was saying the last video or two, I talked about how there's big changes that took place. I didn't want to talk about it then, just primarily because I don't like jinxing myself. I don't like talking about stuff until it's real. But kind of what's been going on. So I bought a townhome like right after I graduated from school, and I actually had just sold that townhome yesterday, which I didn't expect to sell as quickly as I did. But the market where I live has been incredibly good, and I've made like 40% on my place. So, you know, basically I would be a fool not to take that. So I'm debating on, you know, kind of what I'm doing, house hunting or, you know, trying to move out of Ohio. I'm not 100% sure. Most likely the house hunting more so than moving out of Ohio, because there's more things that go into me trying to move out of Ohio. Wow, that would be great. Don't get me wrong, I love the friends that I have here. The community that I've created around, you know, the C-Bus Bimmers has also been great. Can't speak for all the other car communities here. I think a lot of people here have touched on it if you've seen it or you're around here and you've heard about it. Alright, so I'm headed to Columbus Cars and Coffee, Exotic on Scioto Mile, or whatever the hell it's called. Anyways, I almost wasn't gonna go because I got a little bit of salt in my mouth. I had originally signed up like a month in advance or whatever, and they sent me this email talking about how they love my car, yada yada yada. However, I didn't make the cut. That's what they said, or what they really said was they didn't have any more spots. Then they sent me an email because I'm on the email list saying there's spots left. So they lied to me and told me there wasn't any more spots, and then sent an email up saying that there were still spots left. So long story short, they really don't give a damn about M3s. It's all good. It's not like that's the first or last time I'll hear that. But anyways, we're still gonna go check out the show for a second, see what it's like. But yeah, that was rude of them, because I feel like my car is a staple in the area of Columbus, and I didn't get to showcase and be a part of the community with my whip, and that's real shitty from a cars and community standpoint. You know, the whole point of the car community is to be able to be proud of the car you have, and I felt like I got neglected a little bit. But all in all, you know, yeah, like I was saying, I'm incredibly excited. So selling this townhome was kind of my first taste of what it means to, you know, almost flip and, you know, make money in real estate. I've lived there for about 2.5 years, and I've basically lived there for free, plus made a profit, yet alone the money that I've saved up, you know, from just saving with the job that I have, but also got to live rent-free, you know, essentially how I look at it looking back, because it was either I was going to buy the townhome or I was going to rent. The only reason why I really wanted to rent more so was that it put me in a little bit better of a location that I wanted to be in. But ultimately, when it came down to it, buying the townhome was cheaper than renting in any place that I looked at. So it was like a no-brainer. And on top of that, when I actually went in to buy the townhome, the builder who was building my townhome at the time got bought out by a bigger builder. So they were working on this last unit, which was the build that I live in now, and they basically gave us the highest tiered upgrade for free. So we basically got a $25,000 free upgrade, and their original program had this sweat equity program, which just meant like you paint the house, you put up the doorknobs and stuff, and they give you friggin' $8,500, which would have covered my necessary down payment that I needed at the time, being that I had just got out of school. so I used an FHA loan, which only meant I need 3% down, which the sweat equity covers. So I didn't put any money out of my pocket other than the $1,000 earnest money I put down, and then the rest of the money went towards lowering the price of the home off that. So, $8,500 coming in free cash, plus getting $20,000 of free upgrades. And then the market boom, they got bought out, and that's right after they bought that company, my townhome went up in value immediately, $25,000. And that doesn't include the appreciation that came from it being in Dublin, and then the comparable comps of that nature where I lived also drove the market up. So, it put me in a really sweet spot that I just couldn't refuse to do. And I'm excited to see what happens next. And I don't want to keep rambling on about it, but I do want to say that there's a lot of success to be had around you. And I think a lot of people, they look at the super materialistic items and those people as being incredibly successful. But there's a lot of other people, a lot of my friends that even I hang out with are incredibly successful in their financials and looking forward into the future. And I'd like to say I'm one of those guys who kind of has a forward vision. I know outside looking in, people are like, you drive a supercharged M3, your car, just spews gas dollars, just money out of the ass every time I drive it. While that is somewhat true, my cost of living with my car, with my mortgage and student loans and stuff, I only consume 25% of my income on all this shit. So to put that in perspective, I'm saving a ton of money. And then on top of that, I'm just about to make money on my freaking real estate. So it's like, it's pretty good right now. Not perfect, but pretty good. But definitely in a better spot than, like my parents said, than where they were when they started 2.5 years outside of college. So I really can't complain there. And a part of that's to my mom. My mom has been a guidance and kind of just helped me focus and really see long-term vision. And then it's been up to me to juggle that long-term vision with, the quote-unquote what they call millennial wants. We're very impatient and we want it now. And one of those kind of things for me was, as soon as I graduated from school, I ended up selling my 128 BMW, which some would argue is stupid as well. I bought a 128 BMW in school. I sold that as soon as I got out of school. After buying the townhome and secured all that, I bought an M3 5 months later, and I don't regret it. This M3 right here, it's been pretty cool. But on top of that, I would say there's still a lot of areas of my life that I do want to improve on. So I feel like I have the right network of people who constantly, just kind of remind you and poke at you and kind of tell you like, hey, remember, we consider these things and these other things. Because a lot of the guys I hang out with are older than me, a little more further in their careers. And also, I work at Honda, and Honda is known for being very frugal individuals. And a lot of them taught me as soon as I got to work, like, put 10% into your 401k, IRS, whatever it is your investments funds are, and just get that out of your mind now, so that you don't have to try and get to 10%. Because a lot of what happens is, when you start making money and then you're putting 3% and then you try and jump the 10%, that's 7% that you've probably already accounted for in your life. And so I immediately was like, all right, let me just take that 10%, get it out of my system, don't ever even know that it was there, and I invest that in a couple of different ways. So like my returns so far on some of my investments this year has been like 19%. And over the 2.5 years, despite the freaking last year was really bad, like my investments are doing good from a retirement perspective and long-term saving. I have 16 months of savings in my account, so basically I could quit my job now and go a little over 1.5 years without working and still be able to pay all my bills. My cars are paid off. So yeah, all I'm trying to say is, you never know who you might know who can kind of guide you. I'd like to say that I've definitely tried to help other people in school to kind of see the big picture. One weird tip that like my dad gave me, which will sound weird because it's against the norm, and anyone who's still watching, awesome. I probably might do a little bit more talk about like how do I do what I do. I'm not saying that I'm driving a Lamborghini or anything, but I definitely would say that I'm in a position to eventually get to driving a Lamborghini if I keep it up. And I'll talk a little bit about that probably another time when I talk about how I do like my 5-year goals and things like that. But anyways, what I'm about to say is like my student loans, my car payments, all that, I run those loans out as far as I possibly can. So like my car was on a 72-month payment because the interest that I got on that car was like 2.6%. So practically almost free money. And then like my student loans that I have, I ran those all the way out 25, 30 years because the highest loan that I have on that is 5.5%. And then I average on the other one around 4.75%. Said I was making 16, 17% returns. That way outweighs the negative returns that I'm losing on student loans. So until that gets closer, then I'll start punching more at my student loans. But right now my investments are tripling way faster than what my student loans are doing. And that's always something you need to consider because a lot of people put them on like the 5-year, 10-year plans, and you're taking up so much of your money because you know your loan is shorter to pay it off faster, and that money can be making you more money. And you know, a lot of kids, they get overwhelmed with student loans, and I'm not saying that it's not overwhelming because it definitely is overwhelming at first, but you got to try and think of the bigger picture, the 5, 10, 15-year plans, and what you can do with how you can maximize your money throughout those years. So definitely, if you don't think long term and really gauge what that means, you're really setting yourself up for failure. And that's all I'm going to talk about now because we're almost there to do the car shit. So I'm going to get into talking about some car shit now.